She said she had a falling out with her family. One of the reasons is they didn't believe in what she was going through.
Yeah.
And that's and she was older as well. She was in her 40s, 39 maybe. I don't know. 77, 72. I don't know. She was, and she was so open about everything that she became my best friend in there. Like, because.
Do you keep in touch with her? Or?
I didn't. She doesn't have Facebook. And the last thing, I didn't have my phone. My phone was off. That was a cool thing when you turn your phone on and you just see like all these like messages. That was cool. Then sometimes you see messages of people that didn't know you were in there. Like, where the fuck are you? I'm about this comedy show. Like, right. It was interesting. But yeah, no, I wish I did.
I always have to remind myself that while I'm not tech savvy, I'm more tech savvy than a lot of people my age.
You're very good with communication, whether that's being via Facebook. By the way, I scrolled up. That was the first time you gave me your number.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Well, I tell a lot of... So I have a lot of comics on Facebook Messenger, but I have maybe 10 of my favorite comics numbers. And I've never asked for them.
That is a super oversight then on my part. I didn't withhold my phone number from you.
No, I know.
For any reason.
Because I was like, Ryan Buds texts him. Jesus Christ.
Because there have been many times...
That's the 9th Ryan Buds.
Yeah. There have been many times that I've tried to just send you a text... And I was just like, I have to do this through Facebook.
I do the same thing.
And then instead of just saying, give me your number.
We just nobody ever took the bait. Yeah. But yeah, man, I mean, we all go through stuff. Would you say, as we're wrapping up here, would you say that comedy helps what you go through? Because it helps me tremendously, but it can hurt it.
Because the nature of my comedy is introspective, and I try to... My favorite thing to write about and talk about on stage is, here is a situation I handled poorly. Let's talk about it and try to figure out together why I handled it poorly. And like comedy is therapy for me. Mm-hmm. So it's made me hyper aware of things, but I will say, sometimes to a fault, where I'm very aware of patterns where right now, and it's kind of weird timing to do this because I am at the happiest point in my life where I just got engaged.
Yeah,
and
congratulations. That was awesome.
Thank you. And Allison is amazing, but I have this, it's like a weird, like lurking sensation that I know every time there's a high that there's going to be an equal low. And I've been on such a high for so long that I'm particularly happy that I'm going to the doctor next week because number one, I'm terrified of doctors. I'm scared that he's going to say like, oh, wow, you're just being held together by tumors. Like, Well,
the first one is kind of like whether it's a physical or whatever.
I'm doing the whole physical.
Well, yeah, man. But I mean, at the end of the day, the first one is always the hardest because you get it out of the way. But like, they kind of just check what's going on. It's like and then they go from there and see, what they can help you with. At the end of the day, to have that high and low thing is, I'm not saying, because I actually am pretty sure that you don't have this, but I have it, and it's bipolar, where it's like the highs are extremely high, the lows are extremely low. And it's funny you say that because I'm going through that now where everything's going great. I'm on my meds, everything is amazing. I was microdosing with shrooms recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
I thought you were like not a drug guy.
Not a drug guy, but I'm not tripping on them. I don't do it a lot, but it's like antidepressants. And again, I'm not a doctor or professional, so I'm not saying that anybody should do this. But it's like you take a little bit in the morning with iced coffee, and you take it, and it's like antidepressants without putting the mask on. Because I always say that like antidepressants for me are like, it makes me feel better, but it makes me not myself. Where this amount of shroom stuff only makes me feel, and I researched the shit out of this. It makes me feel good and just clears my head, and it allows me to be myself. I'm not saying that I'm replacing antidepressants with this.
Right.
I'm not saying my mom was crushed because she's a drug counselor.
Oh no.
So like I'm not taking them now because of her, and I kind of just told her like, oh, I'm doing this, and then I left for a comedy thing, and I got this ridiculous long text, and she was right. I should have went about it a different way, but I also wanted to be honest with her. I'm 30 years old. I thought, but there's another way to do it, and she worries that I could get, addicted to things, and so I get that. But
Yeah, I have that weird Midwestern anti-drug thing where I don't smoke weed.
I don't either.
I have a very... I play Dungeons and Dragons, and everyone I play Dungeons and Dragons with smokes weed. And
sounds like a weed thing.
Yeah, and I sometimes have to... I get a little angry sometimes afterwards where I'm like, everything I have smells like pot now. And it's in my nose, and the next day I just smell pot. And
you ever go to like a thing where like there's like family around and all you smell is pot? You're like, come on, man.
No.
I've done that. But at the end of the day, it's like, whatever. I don't discriminate against that. I don't know.
But sometimes there's part of me that I think like, oh, like I've looked up the medicinal value of smoking weed to level moods and help with sleep. Yeah. Because I've tried because I've asked my Dungeons and Dragons people about, whether, just because I don't know that much about it because it's not a thing that interests me at all. And they know me pretty well to just say like, well, if you have a hang up about it, try Unisom first. And Unisom doesn't work at all for me either. But it's funny because I kind of I don't want to say who he is, but my main friend who's my into this world of playing Dungeons and Dragons with these guys is a super, super funny comedian, and he smokes a lot of weed, and he is one of the most tightly wound people I know. And I'm like, well, it's not really doing wonders for him.
No, I mean, sometimes, everybody's different. I always say that everybody's body's different. I don't preach medication or anything.
Sorry, Theo Macabre, which is his character's name.
Okay, good. I was like, no, I don't want this comedian coming after me.
Yeah. No, that's his D&D character's name.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, if you don't mind what I want to do, because I've never done this on this podcast, but I would love to do a round 2 another time because I feel like there's so much more to talk about.
I feel like I deflected a lot more than I wish I had.
It's a great conversation. You know why? It's because it's just two guys talking, and it got into some stuff that was great. And then what we do is we just do a round 2 because I try not to make any one episode more than an hour because I think people look at them and they go, this is too long to listen to. Marin or whatever.
I can't listen to two guys talk about feeling sad for more than...
at the end of the day, we talked about other stuff, but I want the next time we'll just go into something else. And it doesn't need to be a second. We could just have more conversation. I'm so glad we were able to do this. It was fun.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you let me do this. It's a story that you've said in jest about how at one of the shows I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to take a little break from drinking for a while, which is a thing that I've done in the past just because, alcoholism runs in the family. Right. And so every now and then just to let myself know that, no, I have control over this. Right. I have been saying for the 3 years that I've lived in L.A., let's take a little break from drinking for a little while. Uh-huh. And, I've been drinking a whiskey during this whole thing.
Yeah, man, but you're not an alcoholic. I remember...
Well, I'm seriously a little worried about that when we were talking about when we just saw each other last. Right. And it's not... I am a person who is preachy about... I hate, my pet peeves are comedians that don't watch other comedians, and even more so comedians that say, "Hey man, can I go on early? I got to skate. I got a show at this other place."
I don't do either. That, thank God. Yeah, I love to watch comedy, and I'm just happy to be on a show.
And last show you saw me at, I went in, did my time, and then went. It was at the Junkyard.
Junkyard's great.
And the room is, closed off, separate room for comedy. And then as soon as I got done, I went to the bar. And
see, but that is something, and that's a conversation for another day. But you didn't go just because you needed alcohol. You went because you went through something that I think anybody would have done exactly what you did.
Well,
comic that knows you or didn't know you went, where's that Mike Bobbitt guy? Like, nobody. I only was like, where's Mike? Because this isn't like him. Because that's like if you showed up to anything late, I'd be like, oh shit, is he okay? Because you were always early, and you were early at the show. You just needed to vent, and you needed, other people went up to you, you talked to them, and you talked to me after, and you talked to Kyle Clark is one of the best people to talk to about anything because
he's
just
another person who's just naturally funny. Where
Yeah.
listening to his CD that he gave me after
best,
the show,
right?
yeah, he's so funny, and
Yeah.
he just has a natural rhythm. Where if you looked at any of his jokes on paper, you would go like, I don't know
No
why
kidding.
that's funny, but
the way he pitches it.
but the
is just
way he
incredible.
delivers a story is just so good. But I made a deal with myself that I would never drink in a time where I was feeling down. I would only drink
Yeah.
sociably if I was happy, and I haven't been holding true to that, but
You know, I mean, everybody's different, and you'll find I gave up alcohol for like 6 months, and it was good. I got better sleep. I just think I love the taste of beer so much, and I'm also not a comedian that gets paid money. So if I get paid in anything, it's alcohol, and I'm like, well, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I get that, but yeah, I gave you shit one time because because we're comedians, and I felt close enough to you. I saw you at a show. And you were like, yeah, not drinking today. I'm like, because I got like free drink tickets. I'm like, okay, cool. You're like, I'm taking a break from drinking. I saw you like 2 weeks later, and then you were drinking. And I was like, Mike, I thought you said you weren't drinking. You're like, yeah, it didn't happen. You're like,
Yeah.
I thought you were taking a break. You're like, yeah, that ended or something. But that's common, man. And another thing is, it's hard to be around
but just because it's common, it doesn't mean it's healthy.
No. I know, but when you're in
Yeah.
comedy, it's really hard. Heather's very good about
Yeah,
that.
and
Very strong.
Heather and I being very good friends and Detroiters.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really hard that she, much like you were saying, the way that you get by is by having, a very strict regimen. She does too,
Right.
where
She's very
she
strong.
and I've known Heather. I've known before Heather,
Yeah.
and I know after Heather, and they are two completely different people.
Wow.
And
Good for her.
yeah,
She
she's
told me because I asked her because I thought she'd be really good on this show. I said, "Hey, would you ever you maybe want?" And we could talk about whatever you want.
Mm.
And she said, "I would love to do that because I think Heather's every time I see her, she's such a positive person, and she's all about like this happened for a reason and here's why." And she reads all these books, and she's so different than I am, but like spiritual and a really good person. And I met her through you, man. I met a lot of great people through you. And my thing is, I'm just happy to be doing comedy and meeting people like you, and also being able to have a platform like this where I could talk, just have an honest conversation, and just talk about. And you've always been such an open book, which is a hard thing to do, and I really appreciate you always. You've always been there for me too when I needed to talk to someone. You and a couple other comics who are just friends.
I'll tell you what. Next time we talk will be after doctor's appointment, and
Cool.
and it will be during let's take a year off from drinking, which is a thing that I've done in the
Dude, I'll
past.
do it with you.
Well, you don't drink now. You're not giving up anything, you asshole.
If I gave up iced coffee, that'd be a whole other thing, which I'm not doing for you.
Yeah.
Mike. I love that's my fucking
and
thing.
it will be post holidays too. So,
Oh, geez.
because
yeah.
I worry,
After
I worry every holiday about you particularly
Oh,
because
thanks.
you're such a good, kind person, and I want you to stick around. I mean, especially now that I know who your brother is, I need you to stick around.
Do you remember that time we did that show at the juice, the smoothie place?
Yeah.
And you got up there, and you were like, Casey, you got these posts, man. Don't kill yourself. Not today. I don't get any stage time in LA, and I just
Yeah. Oh my god, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, like if you go away, then
all the comics careers that I've booked are like, oh no, I got to do bringer shows again.
I'm gonna lose 3/4 of my bookings. So
Kyle Clark told someone, I think it might have been Heather, because Heather and Kyle did a Chop Shop show, and Kyle goes, man, I've been staying alive comedian wise or comedy wise because Casey's shows, because I'm working and I'm doing all these things, and that makes me feel good because I means I'm giving these great comics shows, but then there's pressure on me where it's like, if I need to take a break from this, what I do is I build these rooms and then give them to the triplets or someone that can still keep them going.
Yeah.
Which, that's the plan.
I think that you have a very good sense of weeding out good people from bad people.
It's
the
taken
triplets,
some time, but they're great.
I love fucking with the triplets.
Yeah.
But
They're good
those
people.
are 3 really good guys.
Right.
And
Did you see them at the roast battle? They fucking
I
destroyed.
haven't watched the video yet.
Yeah, that's fun.
But they reached out to me beforehand and asked for some help too. And I thought it would be funny